This video is going to be more information on the scooters. Especially I want to cover some of the less expensive, cheaper electric scooters that you can get. This is not a video that's going to include the material I already covered in the previous one. Please check on the earlier videos that are about electric scooters. Those are the more expensive kind that I definitely endorse 100%. These are going to be just some honorable mentions. And if you're interested in the bike, you can take a look at my book. It should put you on the path to max out any bicycle you have, small wheel or not, electric or not. So there is a video that was published recently, and I want to base these comments on this video. I'm putting a link below, as I always do, and I recommend that you check this out for yourself. Most of these scooters are Amazon scooters. They are mostly cheap, but some of them go up to over $3,000. And that is something you can see even on Amazon. Like, you can see how far some of these go. I mean, $6,000, that's a lot of money. It's also worth noting how scooter companies are not afraid of being sued or fined selling bikes in the US that can do, as you can see, 72 miles an hour, and some of them can even do more than this. Obviously this is going to be very heavy. This is basically a foldable motorcycle that has no sound. Compared to motorcycle, it's still lightweight, but I definitely don't recommend it, and many of them are ridiculously ugly. I mean, this design, I would not want to be seen on this thing. Amazon has a ton of these, and I don't recommend them, but a lot of people buy them because of the cheapness and the convenience. Now, these are some of the smaller scooters. This is a good video to watch though, because it is a fairly impartial review of what's on the market that is easily accessible. They are not covering any of the high-end rides that I have already covered in the previous video, but it is an interesting thing to watch, and it's interesting to see how much you can get. I mean, compared to an e-bike, you can get something a lot less expensive or a whole lot faster, a whole lot powerful, and they are all a lot easier to maintain than a folding bike. I mean, make no mistake, I'm not selling my Brompton. I'm not saying you should not have a folding bike. I use mine because it is great for short range shopping, or I can convert it into a tourer and I can tour on it all weekend long. Now, this is one of the few models that I noticed that I actually do like. This is a very cool design. It has all the gadgets, front and rear suspension, disc brakes, and typically they come with electronic brakes as well, and a good deal of speed. I mean, 46 miles an hour is not something I would even want to do on tiny wheels like this. This is a great scooter, but the price is accordingly. So there's no such thing as a free lunch. If you want to have these kind of speeds and performance, then you are going to have to pay for it. Here is another one. This is a gold black color scheme, not the blue one, but looks almost the same as the blue scooter we were just looking at. Very similar, a little bit over $2,000, 45 miles an hour. Very good. The range is enormous. I mean, if you want a motorcycle you can keep under the bed in a shoebox apartment in the middle of the city, then this is it. Look no further. Although, look at my previous video and look at the really good stuff I have been recommending, because these companies, they come and go. Whereas a company like WePad, which I do recommend, and several of the others, those have been around for over a decade, and they make beautiful handmade stuff that's going to last for the rest of your life, if you take care of it, at least. Well, this is a monster, another ugly one I do not like. Now, here is a scooter I do want to spend some time on. This is a short range, very, very light scooter. It is called Unagi, and they sell two versions of this. So there's the Model 1, and there's the Classic, and there's the Voyager. And the price is either $1,000 or $1,500. But note that you can rent it, and they send it out to your address. And this amount of money, which is less than the amount you would be spending on a subway pass in New York for a month, is going to cover everything. If there is any problem with the scooter, you can just send it back and they will fix it, which is great. The power of this thing is 250 front and rear, so you have all-wheel drive, which I do like. And they do have electronic braking with ABS front and rear, which is really nice. There's also a friction brake, which I don't understand and would probably not use. Now, the range is kind of short because they are trying to keep the weight low. These bikes weigh less than the Brompton G-Line, or the scooters, if you will. So the lower end one, maybe 8-10 miles. You can watch the video and they test the actual range of it, and they are talking about the higher range is only 12 miles. So it's really not that great of a range. But for a lot of people, if you don't want a heavy scooter, if you live in a walk-up apartment, you have to walk up several floors, then this is really a very viable solution. And look at some of the other features this thing has. It is beautifully designed. It has aluminum, carbon fiber, and magnesium components. And look at the tires. The tires are airless, but they have suspension built in. These kinds of airless suspension tires have been tested and developed for cars for several decades now, but they do not have quite the smoothness of an inflatable tire. So it's not available for cars, but you can get it for a scooter. And having this much suspension in the tire is still better than being on solid tires. So solid rubber, plastic, and polyurethane is going to ride harsher than this. And you still don't have to worry about flats. You can see that there is suspension, just like with an air-inflated tire. Not as smooth or as elegant, but this is certainly better than a completely solid tire. So I'm very happy with this thing if you want a motor. If you don't want a motor, once again, I've covered my own Zooter scooter, and I'll put links below. If you don't want an electric motor, then you can go down to as low as 11 pounds, which is less than half of what this thing weighs. And this is a very, very light scooter for an electric. Very nicely built. It used to be sold on Amazon, but not anymore. And one of them have really nice colors as well. I like the red and I like the white, but they have other colors as well. So this one is really good. And of course, the video mentions something I already mentioned as an honorable mention in the previous video. This little Segway Chinese-made thing is really a good way to go if you don't have a lot of money and you really just need a runabout that's going to last a few years, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. The cheapest one with a 25-mile range is only $500. Now, you can go around at retail stores in big cities and you see the same thing, but it does not have a Segway logo. Those are Chinese hacks. I don't recommend them at all because you're saving money. They might give it to you for $200-300, but those scooters are not going to get the warranty and the support you get from an American company. I mean, Segway is not making them in the US. This is still a Chinese-made product, but at least you are getting the warranty and the support of a US company, not to mention oversight over the whole operation. And for the 40-mile version of it for $800, I really can't think of anything cheaper than this, or even at this price range. This has been around for a long, long time, and you can look at the reviews, excellent reviews, because it's a cheap product, but you do get your money's worth for how much you are spending. Okay, I just wanted to comment on the electric scooters because this video came out and there is a lot of new information on it. Make sure to check out the video, and I'll see you next time.
I'll be back.